Is anyone going through a pimple breakout during quarantine? Because I certainly am. And it's really heightening my insecurity levels, especially filming a video and then posting it online for the world to see. But we are still gonna shoot a video today because we are here to learn and we are greater than our insecurities. I often hear that phrase, and maybe the time has come for me to apply it and face those insecurities. So, roll intro. So I don't have an intro yet for this channel, but this is still going to be a useful and educational financial and personal development video. So, let's get started. Hey guys, it's Gianne Calo and welcome back to my channel. This video is part 2 of our series called Breadwinners Guide to Personal Finance, and the topic for this video is about budgeting and saving. So let's go ahead and dive in. Budgeting and saving are two key important steps when you start your personal financial journey, because these are the steps where you truly understand your relationship towards money. How do you earn money? How do you spend money? Why do you spend your money towards the things that you buy? And why do you save your money to be able to afford the things that you want to buy? That's where you truly understand your spending habits and your relationship towards money. So let's first dive into budgeting. When I was in college, I took up finance, and after graduating, I came back to the province, and immediately my father gave me the task to become the financial officer of the household. And back then, in my 20-year-old freshly grad brain, I told myself I was able to survive college, budgeting and saving my allowance. How hard can that be? Well, girl, that was a harsh reality check. I was so naive back then. I thought it's gonna be easy, but it's really different, especially when you're a breadwinner. It's so easy to budget for yourself because you only have you to worry on. But when you have a family or you have kids, or providing for your parents or providing for relatives, it's really different because you have other people to worry on. Mabilis pagkasyahin yung budget pag ikaw lang mag-isa yung binabudget mo. Pag ikaw lang mag-isa yung pinoprovidean mo. Pero mahirap pagkasyahin yung budget kung marami kang sinusuportahan na tao. So when you Google how to budget, most of the time it's gonna pop out, track your expenses, which I encourage you to do. I'm gonna make a separate video about it, and I'm gonna link that in the description box down below. But for this video, I'm not gonna tackle about how to track your expenses, because I want to give you a different perspective when it comes to budgeting, especially when it comes to breadwinners and main income earners, because mahirap siya. It's an additional skill, because when you're a breadwinner, there's an emotional side effect when it comes to budgeting. So here's what I want you to remember. Breadwinners, main income earners, family providers. There are two things you have to remember when you start to budget your finances. So the first step when it comes to budgeting, especially when you're a breadwinner, is like, know your identity. Sino ka ba? Who are you in the financial stability of your family, of your relatives? I always tackle on this because as Filipinos, we are very close-knit community and nagtutulungan talaga tayong lahat. But it's a harsh reality that you cannot help everyone and you cannot be everything to someone. Gets niyo yun? So you have to know your identity in this financial relationship. So in my previous video, I have told you that I am 27 years old and I'm the main income earner in a family of 4, and I am a home-based business owner. So that gives me 3 identities. The first identity is that I have personal needs. So that's my Gianne financial identity. The second identity I have is that I am the main income earner in a family. So that's my family financial identity. And the third identity I have is that I'm a home-based business owner. So that's the business financial identity. And why am I telling you this? It's because when you don't know where you stand, it's like this is a financial relationship towards money. And in any kind of relationship, it's just like a romantic relationship. When you feel a strong connection with someone, but you don't have a label, what does that feel like? It feels like hindi mo alam saan ka lulugar. You don't know if it is good that you feel jealous. You don't know if it's the right thing to do to be protective of this person, because you don't know where you stand. You don't have a label. So when it comes to romantic relationship, you demand a label. Because when you don't know your label, then you don't know where you stand. And if you don't know where you stand, then you don't know your rights. And when you don't know your rights, you don't know what actions you have to take in order to exert the necessary actions, not only to protect you, but also the relationship. That's the same thing when it comes to our financial life. So you have to establish what's your identity towards yourself, hanggang san lang yung dapat para sa'yo, hanggang san lang yung dapat para sa pamilya, hanggang san lang yung dapat para sa negosyo. And that's for me. And for you, you could have multiple identities. Like, that could be you, your family, your grandparents, you, your family and relatives, and then nephews and nieces. There's a lot of identities that you can have, but I encourage you to boil it down to three to five identities, because more than five is gonna be, your brain is gonna explode, because that's gonna be really, really difficult. And a little tip when talking about finances towards the family, I know what it feels like talking finances towards the family. It's really like cringy, nakakatakot, and that's normal. But you have to remember that it's not only you who carry the family, but everyone, each person in the family carries a certain amount of responsibility for the family. And kaya there's always finances involved, so you have to talk about it. In my previous video, I told you I'm the main income earner of the family, which means I'm not the sole provider, financial provider of the family. Hindi ako nag-iisa sa ambag sa financial stability ng pamilya. Hindi ako yung only person na nagbibigay ng finances for the family. Both my parents are pensioners, and I'm very, very grateful that they did their best to consistently put money into their pension accounts. And now, they are pensioners. Now that they're retired, they're pensioners. Yun, pinag-usapan namin pamilya. How do we go about this struggle in our finances? And my father has a pension, and my mother has a pension. Pensions are in bulk, and we have bulk expenses. Bulk expenses are like bills, like electricity bills, water bills, internet bills. Kasama na dun yung mga loans, like housing loans, car loans, if may mga ganun kayo. So, as for us, our family, we still are paying for our loan. And my father's pension is dedicated for the loans that we have acquired over the years. And my mother's pension is dedicated for the monthly bills that we have every month. Because those are like big chunks of expenses, and they have pensions that are given in bulk. Now, as for me and my brother and I are like business partners in this business, but pinag-usapan namin that I will head the financial stuff and things. So, when it comes to me, my brother and I, our financial identity when it comes to the family is the day-to-day needs. Day-to-day needs are the food, the drinking water, the medicines, gasoline, and like emergency expenses. Ganon. And it's because we have the most variable income source. It's the business. When it comes to business, if you don't work, then you don't have an income. And if you work, then you have an income. So that's the challenge for us. Kaya yan, that's my identity. That's my brother and I's identity when it comes to the financial need of the family. So you have to establish your own. Hanggang san lang ba yung sayo? Because, for example, if my mother would buy something she wants and was not able to pay for the bill, I would tell her, Ma, pinag-usapan natin to. Hindi mo pwedeng kunin sa amin. Dapat sa'yo galing yung pambayad ng bills. And if you wanted to buy something, then you have to save up for it. Parang ganun. So, you know you're right. And you can exert the necessary actions for you to protect your right. So that's why it's really important that you establish your identity when it comes to budgeting. And the second thing you have to remember when you start to budget for your family is that you have to manage your guilt. There's a lot of emotional things that's going to happen when you start to become financially responsible, because you have to change a lot of things in your relationship, not only towards money, but also towards your family. And along with it, doubts start to come in. When you start to become financially responsible, it's not only you who have to change the lifestyle and have to adjust on the new reality, but also your family. And if they know this certain comfort and you have to change that, they have to adjust, you're gonna get some backlash. Like, ito lang yung pera mo, and then your child wants this toy or maybe this food, but you cannot afford it, and you can see that they're sad, and you somehow feel guilty na parang, I want to give you the best that I can give, but right now I can't. And you will feel guilty most of the time. You will feel like, am I not a good father? Am I not a good provider? Am I not a good mother? Am I not a good, as for me, am I not a good child? Like, I want to give my parents the best possible meal, but most of the time, especially when quarantine started, the business has been hard, but we can still eat. It's just not what I want them. Hindi ko nabibigay yung gusto kong pagkain na gusto kong ipakain sa kanila. And that makes me feel guilty na parang, that makes me question my efforts as well. Like, am I giving my all? I mean, is there something I can do more? Why are my efforts not enough? Why are my efforts always fall short? Those things will always run in your mind. So you have to manage your emotional side. And you have to remember that you are doing the best that you can in your current capabilities, and you are inching your life forward. That's where we go back to the mindset and the virtues and values. Because when life gets tough, when the road gets rough, you have to keep moving. You have to inch your life forward. You have to believe in your capabilities to figure things out. You have to be consistent. You have to have faith. You have to believe that you're worthy of the dream that you have. And that's why I really gave so much importance in the mindset and virtues and values, because you need it in every step that you take, not only in this personal financial life, but also in every aspect of life. So yeah, that's the second thing. Manage your guilt. You have to remember, when those doubts come in, when the guilt feelings come in, you have to tell yourself you're doing the best that you can. You love your family, but you are also loving you, and that you're doing the best that you can. You're growing yourself, you're inching your life forward. This hardship too shall pass. All you have to do is show up every day, be consistent in the things you know that you have to do, even though you don't like doing them. So yeah, you have to remember it. Those two things: establish your identity and manage your guilt. And so now we go to the savings part. I found it really hard to save when I became a breadwinner. Kasi every single time I save, tapos may emergency, kinukuhan ko yung savings. And when you Google how to save money, this formula always come out. Income minus savings equals expenses. And I encourage you to apply it. But here's the thing. I am applying it, but paano hindi kunan yung savings? That's a different skill set. And that's the kind of saving I want to impart with you. That perspective that I want to share to you. Because saving money when you're a breadwinner is really frustrating, because every single time there's an emergency, you're gonna take from that saving, and then you feel less of a person. For me, I feel less of a financially independent person because kinukunan ko yung savings ko, and that saving was intended for something, but kinukunan ko siya kasi may emergency sa bahay, mga ganun. So, here's what I want you to understand. It took me a while to understand this concept, but I'm gonna share it with you and apply it in a financial way. So, I began my journey into personal development when I was 21 years old, and I was in a seminar that I didn't want to attend, but I was required by the office that I was working in to attend, and that was a personal development seminar, and that sparked this desire in me to understand my brain and how it works more. And then as I consumed over the years, I consumed several courses about managing their mindset, and because I just really want to understand, and I want to understand myself more. I want to be able to achieve my life goals more, and with it comes personal development. And one thing that I have learned when it comes to personal development is called neurological pathways. It's that part of our brain where we establish new roads. It's like when you're hiking. Pag nag-hike ka, there's already a path that's a clear path that you take. Kasi yun yung palaging nilalakaran ng mga tao. But when you get off the path, there's a lot of green grass over the land, and when you step on it, there's no path yet. And that's similar to our brain's neurological pathway. When you do something over and over and over and over and over again, that's the clear path. But when you try to do something new, that's the new path. And our brains have the capability to make a new path. And that's getting your neurological pathways even stronger. So why am I telling you this? What's the relevance? This is not a science show or a biology channel. But here's what I want you to understand. Our brains work with habit. The more we do something, the stronger the connection to mind and action is. The lesser we do something, the less connection there is to mind and action is. I have often asked, why is it so hard to save? When I became a breadwinner, that was really the most frustrating part for me. I really had difficult time saving. Kasi palaging may kailangan, palaging may kailangan, palaging may kailangan. And when you don't have the budget for it, that's really, really difficult. But here's what I learned. That's really why I shared the neurological pathway superpower of our brain. Because the brain does not care how huge or small the saving is. It does not care. What it cares about is how often you do the action. Have you ever wondered why it's so hard to save and yet so easy to spend? I've come to realize it's so easy to spend because every single day we spend. We go to commutes. We go to buy something. Every day there's a spending. But we don't save every day. Why? We cannot save every single day because a salary is like every 15th and 30th. For me, sa negosyo, may order, may masasave. Kung walang order, walang masasave. And here's what I've come to realize. The brain is having a hard time building a stronger neurological pathway when it comes to saving because we don't do it every single day. But the moment that you understand that the brain does not care how much you save, but how often you save, then that becomes our superpower. So how does this all work together? When you start saving, when you're a breadwinner, I encourage you to save 1 peso a day. And you tell me, like, Gianne, 1 peso, it's just 365 pesos in a year. That's a useless amount. You know, it's a small amount, and that's true. It's like a somehow useless amount. But you have to remember, when you're struggling na pagkasyahin yung pera mo, you still need to save. And I encourage you to save 1 peso a day because our goal is to build the neurological pathway. Our goal is to build the habit of saving because we are preparing ourselves for the blessings God will give us, and we are training ourselves. We're making ourselves ready for the blessings God will give us, so that when God blesses us with so much more, then saving won't be hard. Saving just becomes a part of our lives. And that's the goal. That's the goal. Right now, we are struggling. And yes, it's really hard to save. Yes, it's really hard na pagkasyahin yung pera. But saving 1 peso a day is like a training to the brain. It's like if you're preparing for a 21-kilometer run. You don't just go on the running day and run 21 kilometers. You have to train before. And if it's your first time to run a 21-kilometer race, then you train. You first go the 2 kilometers. You first run or jog 2 kilometers, and then go up in the 5 kilometers, go up in the 10 kilometers, go up in the 15 kilometers. You have to train how to run for the 21-kilometer race for just in order for you to be able to run the 21 kilometers on racing day. Same goes with financial planning and financial saving. You can't just wait for like you to earn like so much money and then you don't know how to save, because the highest probability is when you have so much money and you don't know how to save, then you're not gonna save. There's a lot of stories about it. Maraming tao nanalo ng 1,000,000 and even more than million pesos from the lotto, and after several months, ubos yung 1,000,000, ubos yung several millions. Why? Because they didn't know how to save. They didn't know how to invest. And that's what we are trying to build. That muscle of saving, so that when God blesses us with His blessings, we are ready. We are capable, and we know we are worthy to have it. And so, yes, that's why it's important to save 1 peso a day. And whenever that thought creeps in, like, oh, this is useless to save 1 peso a day, whenever that thought creeps in back in your mind, remember, always remember, we are building, our goal is to build the neurological pathway, to build that habit of saving and not the amount. Because we have to make do with what we have. And if we are struggling right now to pagkasyahin yung pera, but we also have to start saving, then that's what we can do. Save 1 peso every single day. And so yeah, that's budgeting and saving. I hope you have learned something new today, that I have imparted with you this perspective that I have when it comes to budgeting and saving when you're a breadwinner. I encourage you, comment down below what learning that you have got from this video, and I encourage you to share this video if you have found this helpful. And yeah, let's just grow our community. Let's start to inch our lives forward together, and we will achieve our own versions of success. And so, go inch your life forward. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.